If it's just us, then we'll have a fun discussion. But I'm gonna give a couple more minutes for some folks to wander in. Okay, we got a new person. We are adding in where we're coming from. So if you wanna just in the chat. Hi, Brandy. See you up there. Can you tell us in the chat where you're coming from? Hey, Leslie. We're just doing little introductions. I'm just giving a little time for people to roll in, but I'm ready with us, our little small intimate group that works too. Got some new people joining. So if you just joined, just tell us in the chat where you're coming from. We've already got Texas and Nigeria. I'm from California, so we got a nice a group of folks. Austin, awesome. Okay, looks like we have a nice diverse group. So I want to be respectful of time because I want to leave some time for questions and answers at the end. So I'm going to get started. Hi, Lauren. We're doing little intros in the chat of where we're calling in from. So if you want to add to that, we got Melbourne, amazing, San Diego. Ooh. Where are you, Lauren? Because you're always somewhere. Okay, Ohio. I knew it. Always somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So hopefully everybody can see my little fancy presentation. Um, I have a few, so welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I do have a few housekeeping things that I want to bring up. I'm not sure that I saw that anybody was able to do it, but I did send an email out to people that registered earlier that if you went ahead and got your business opportunity report, it should have came to you in your email. Now would be the time to open it. If you did not get it, don't worry, because we'll still go through what it looks like and I'll send you a link for you to fill one out after the call. It does take about 24 hours to generate, but it does have some great insights about your business so that what we're talking about doesn't feel generic. I am planning on doing questions and answers tonight. I am flying solo, so I would ask that you either wait till the end and do the hands up or add them to the chat. So I'll have to go check those afterwards. I will also have the replay available after this so that I tend to talk a little fast when I get nervous, and I am a little nervous. So you can go back and listen to it at half speed and get everything that I said. And then lastly, yeah, I think that's actually it. Um, so I will get started then. So I'm Courtney Dade, and you're like, who the heck is she? Um, I am from San Diego. My name is Courtney S. Dade. I'm the founder of CSD Marketing Consulting and also CSD Connect. As you can see, I'm very creative with my naming because just use my initials. I'm going to tell you a bit about CSD Marketing Consulting now, and then I'll tell you more about CSD Connect a little later on in the presentation. So I have been in marketing for 27 years and I've been a small business owner for 17. Do not do the math in your head. I promise I'm young at heart. And you're probably thinking, why is this marketing person saying you don't need more marketing? That feels a little strange. But trust me, I did not come by this because I wanted to. I arrived at better systems by accident. So I'm going to tell you my hero origin story, which is I am a strategist. So in my boutique, I build out strategy and campaigns for small business owners, and then I work with other agencies or my team to execute to make them happen. Well, all of a sudden, the past couple years, I noticed that I had a really strong referral business, but my phone wasn't ringing as much, and the referrals started dwindling down. Additionally, when I was working with people, they started cutting down on their budget, or if I was meeting new people, they didn't want to pay what I was able to charge before. So naturally, I'm like, what's up with this? So when I did start talking to people, they're like, what do I need you for? I got ChatGPT. I'm like, oh, great. Also, there's the economy, which is, I'm sure we've all felt the stress of that. So, as business owners, sometimes you have to make decisions. Do I pay this other company to do something, or do I try to figure it out myself? And I understand all of those. I've been working with small businesses enough to understand that sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But essentially, technology changed the assignment for me, and I had to figure this out. And I took this very personally at first, like, what's going on with this? And I guess as a small business owner, oftentimes you do take things personally. But what I found was that my industry is one of those industries that are heavily impacted by the new emerging technologies in the past couple of years, and learning from other marketing agencies that most of us have lost about 60% of our bag. If you can imagine, 60% just gone within a year. The technology is moving faster than we can keep up. So once I saw the writing on the wall, these companies aren't going to stop getting smarter. I had some choices to make. I could either let my business fade after 17 years and basically go get a job, or I could lean in and evolve. So I'm not a quitter. I chose to lean in. So this is where we're at. But one thing I did have to do is take a look at myself, an honest look. Hey, girl, what's really going on? And as much as I want to say technology and economy were the reason my phone stopped ringing, the truth was business always felt hard. So if my business was going great, it felt hard. If business wasn't going great, it felt hard. No matter what, as a smaller agency working with a small team, it just always felt hard. So I knew that I needed to take a look at some of the things that were working inside of my business. So I'm going to give you a couple statements here and see if they relate for you and how you manage your business or maybe have in the past. So my leads live in my inbox. I That's a terrible place for them to live, especially because I just recently, as of 2 weeks ago, I had 40,000 unread emails inside my multiple inboxes. So if there was a business opportunity that I was crying about or referral didn't come through, it could have simply just been sitting in my inbox and I never saw it. Also, follow-up depends on my memory. And even though I asked you not to do the math, if you did the math, you'll notice that that is not going to last long. So having anything just up to memory is not a great way to run a business. Now, I've been more of a database girl, but I know my clients have often used a lot of spreadsheets, which I love. I love a good spreadsheet where you can organize information. And I would look at them like, wow, this is really great information. And still you look at until you look at the bottom and you start to look at the tabs. And there will be like a million tabs and they're all over the place, but people just didn't have any place to put the information. So they just created a new tab. Or something new came up, they just created a new tab. So now something that started off really great looks a little crazy. So, and then the most important thing was I'm the CEO, the salesperson, the customer service person. I'm IT, I'm accounting, I'm the janitor, I'm all the things. And whether I can't hire all those people right now. So I am all the things. It's hard. It's hard. So what do you do? I got an MBA and I have all this debt. So I'm going to drop you guys with a marketing principle just to prove that it wasn't a waste of money since I decided to work for myself. And we're going to talk about the Pareto principle. And what that says is 20% of effort produces 80% of your results. So what that looks like is 20% of the revenue that I'm sorry, 20%, 80% of the revenue that you get comes from about 20% of your customers. Or if you're a product company, 80% of the products that you produce or 80% of the products that you sell come from 20% of the items that you have. So 80/20, right? Now, what this looks like in real life, though, for us small business owners, how it really shows up is generally we are spending 80% of our budget and our efforts to chase strangers, where most of our money is really coming from our repeat customers, our referrals, and loyal relationships. So this isn't like a math equation, it's a marketing pattern. It's something that's gone on for years. So I did ask a few questions before people came in on what systems felt broken, and there were a few people that said they needed more leads. If that feels hard, it should, because as you can see, you have to put a lot of effort into acquiring a new lead. It's important, but just realize it's also important for you to look at the people you're already doing business with and make sure that they stay happy. Oh, okay, so yeah, so eventually, so basically, we're chasing our new customers and we're underworking our existing relationships. So when we look at marketing, marketing will bring the people in, and the systems will keep them there, and they'll help us grow the relationships and actually get them to transact. So when I'm talking about a system, what I'm talking about is just a simple, repeatable way to get something done. So it's not necessarily a software, it's not necessarily a machine, but it's how to do something over and over in a way that it's consistent and it brings similar results every single time. So, for example, someone finds you. How they find you, maybe it was a referral, social media, online, AI, whatever, they find you. Then they raise their hand. Yeah, I'm interested in what you got. Maybe I fill out a form. Maybe I book a meeting. Maybe I actually purchase a product. Then you do something. You have to respond. You have the meeting. You send the product. You, what else did I say? You do something else cool. Then you have to follow up. So there's a follow-up that happens when someone's just interested and they say fill out the form and you want to send up a follow-up email to say, hey, let's meet. But there's also after someone does business with you, it's important for you to follow up a confirmation, a thank you, check-in, maybe a few months down the line. Hey, how you doing? And then finally, the most important, or one of the most important, is that you go through and you look at your process and you look at your system. You learn from what works and what doesn't work, and you improve it. So don't keep a broke system because it's easy or it's done. Always go back and refine it so that it makes life easier for you in the long run. So the one thing to note is that if one of these handoff breaks, then the customer will feel it. So, all right. So we're going to talk about the systems now, since that's what we titled the webinar. And I'm going to go through, I call these four growth layers. And the reason why they're layers is because they stack on top of each other. They're not like you start here at one place, you do the next thing, and then you move them over. There's something that they stack on top of your company or stack on top of your process over and over. So what we're looking at is the visibility, the relationships, execution, and also accelerating. And so a business does not complete one and permanently move on. You continue layering until as your business evolves. So when we're talking about visibility, we're going to talk about helping people find you and trust you. And the way that we do that is our reputation and visibility system. So what's included in that? Listings, directories, reviews, even like your website, things like that, that will tell people who you are and make you visible to them. Hold on, my dog. I knew she was gonna do that. She's been quiet all day. Yep. I love live stuff. Give me one. Sorry, and we're back. All right, so then the next one is relationships. So relationships is how you turn someone from attention or they're interested in you to go ahead and take action. And what that looks like is either, hi, I've filled out a form and you're getting me to book and you're responding to me very quickly. Speed is important there. Or I've decided not right now or yes right now, and you still want to continue to follow up and nurture that relationship, stay in contact with them so that they continue to build trust and eventually will take action with you. And then, of course, execution. Execution is how are you keeping everything organized so that you can fulfill the promises that you're making to the client. So I've worked in several businesses where like, we need more marketing and I can bring as many people through the door, but if they're having a terrible experience when they're in your door, no amount of marketing is going to fix that. And oftentimes the operations just have to do with being more organized. So, Customer management is important for that. And then lastly, acceleration, which is looking at your business intelligence. And when we're talking about business intelligence, is just a fancy word for data, analytics, automations, AI. And notice AI didn't come at the beginning of it. It comes in the process of after you've already established things are working, then you use these things to improve on the process that you've already built. I'm going to take one more slide and then I'm going to kind of jump off for a little bit because I want to show you a live demo, which is probably going to be like the dog and a little disruptive, but we carry on. So if you were able to get the report, now would be the time to open it. If you didn't, no worries. We're going to go through one as a case study and kind of show you what it looks like. And then when you get your own report, you'll be able to go back and understand the report. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm just going to kind of give you the high level stuff and then show you how you can use the data from the report to look at your own system. So in this report, what's going to show you, it's going to show us a grade on our listings, our reviews, our website SEO, and also the AI visibility. The it has a big old scary grade on it, which is a marketing tactic, but we're not going to worry about that. We're not looking for whether we're perfect or not. We're just using the data. So I'm going to show you kind of an overview of a case study, and then I'm going to break off and show you the actual report. Okay, so the case study that we'll be looking at is a San Diego catering company. Um, and the reason why what I said earlier is because at the very top of the report is the big old grades. So if you have any trauma from school, just let it go. It's fine. This is just information. And the information is letting you know where there's opportunities for you to lift the business. Now, why I like this is sometimes when you feel like nothing's working. Like I'm trying this and I'm trying that. Oftentimes we're not trying everything. Sometimes we've let consistency go. And so this will always give us something to go back to. Well, let me try this. Let me work on this. Let me work on getting these things better. So just as a snapshot, what I see here is that this business owner has some great reviews. Like lean into that. A review will take you so far, very, very far. We love good reviews. There's also an opportunity for them to fix their listings. So right here, and we're going to see this in there, what a listing is basically a directory. So like yellowpages.com, any place that just lists your business, the type of business, the name, and how to contact you. There's thousands of them on the internet. And the more that you're listed on there accurately, meaning every piece of information is the same, the more you signal trust to the search engine optimizations, like this business is important. They're on everybody's directory. And so oftentimes they'll serve you up in the search for that. It's one of those algorithm hacks. Then also they can look at their website or the thing, yeah, basically looking at the website to find out what happens after a customer finds them. Is it easy for them to transact? Can I, make a purchase book? How easy is it for me to do business with you? Fill out a form? Is there a phone number? Like how can I, what's next? And then lastly, which is the newer piece of it, is how is AI recommending me or at all? In this particular case, they're not recommending the person at all, which is that's new. Like we didn't care about AI a couple years ago. Now it's everywhere. A couple things before I show you the live report. Not everything is for everyone. So for example, e-commerce on there, if you don't have an e-commerce site, that might not be relative to you, except it does show like, can someone transact with you? It doesn't have to be money, but is there a booking link? Is there a form, something on there that they can transact? Also, advertising, a lot of us just don't choose to run ads. So there'll be a lot of information on advertising and it'll have an F, but if you're not working on it, it's not important. It's just a data point. And again, this isn't a character assassination or calling you a good or bad business person. It's just data. So I'm gonna stop the presentation for right now so I can access the live report. And I'm gonna check this chat. I'm talking fast, huh? Do I have an Instagram account we can follow? Yes, I'll send you all that stuff. I have like four. I'll tell you which one to follow though when I decide. You can find CSD Connect all at one, and it should link to all the other ones. Okay, so squirrel. Right. So as promised, here is what these reports look like. And this one is the one that we just did. So there's that magical grade scale that nobody should, it is what it is. It's just information. When you get to the report, there's a lot of call to action buttons on here. A lot of them just contact me, like provide contact information. So if you want to book a meeting to go discuss through, like walk through the report, or you have any questions, then you're more than welcome to do that. Additionally, there's a chat right here in the corner. My homegirl Ava. Ava's my AI receptionist chat bot. She also answers the phone. People say she's a little saucy, so I might have to talk to her. But anyway, Ava can answer some great questions about the report, and also can help you book if you need to or get a hold of me. So, but anyway, we're going to go through this. I know this particular business owner, they were not verified with Google Business Profile, which is where this AI pulls a lot of the information. If it was, you would actually see like the images and things that are on the Google Business Profile. But I know that's something that they're working on. I think future reports, I took X off because 6% of people in the industry are on X. That's not really important to us at this point. But this area is the listings. On each one of the places in the report, they have little videos too to kind of explain to you why these things are important. So you can spend a little more time on them. But again, listings is where you are listed on a directory, name, address, phone number, website. The most important thing about it is to be on as many as you can, but also to be very accurate. So here you can see that this business only has 3 listings that the AI could find out of 66 that they were looking on, but that none of them were accurate. So everyone had a little bit different information, whether it was a website or a mailing address. And so none of them were accurate. And so that's a challenge. There are 62 other ones we could have collapsed so that you can see the list of places that the AI was looking, and also places that you can add your business. That's something that you can do on for your report. Newstar and Foursquare are called, they're like centers. So basically, if you put your information into each of these, they'll push your information out to different directories. She's not currently in there, which means that the 3 that she does have on there, she had to do manually. Winning reviews. I love it. We love a good review. 5 stars, 40 reviews that they found on Google. Google's the only source, which is fine, but there are other sources, especially like if you're in a specific industry, say real estate, Zillow, other industry specific directories where you can get reviews. Those are amazing. But again, a reputation is going to do better than any flyer, postcard, because it's really that word of mouth, like somebody's referring, I did great business with this person, you should do business with them too. And people trust that a lot more. On social is, strong enough, but again, if you are looking for places of improvement and you're not very active on your social media, it is a place that you can look for discoverability. She does have an Instagram. However, the reason that the AI didn't find it is because the Instagram is not linked on her website. And so what's interesting about that is you can't really assume that people are going to find you in the way that you design them to find you. A lot of you found me today because I decided to put $20 into Eventbrite ads. So you're not going to come into the traditional way that I usually do business. And so, but I want to make sure that if you come to my website that you're able to find other things. So it's not showing the Instagram. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It just means that the AI couldn't find it quickly, which probably means the human can't find it quickly either. Here's an analysis of the website. There's no business address, but that's also kind of like, okay. And there's some other things here. The social media isn't linked on the site, so that's why the AI couldn't find and associate the social media. So that would be one major change that I would recommend to the client. It is a fast site, which is great, both on desktop and on mobile, because if it takes too long, people will be uninterested really quickly. Folks have a really short attention span. I will say that my websites are heavy. They're big and they're heavy, and I just have not gone back to optimize them. And I can tell because I get on my own nerves sometimes when I go on my website and it's too slow. On the report, you can click down on these carrots and it'll actually tell you some things you can fix. So if you're already working with someone, um, there's some stuff that you can just fix on your own. But, these are just, again, just more information. This was the e-commerce part I was telling you about that some people it's not going to be relevant for. But what I do like is the lead engagement. That's usually like on my site, I have MailChimp, or Constant Contact. So if you wanted to join my newsletter, you could. And then also an online scheduler if you're a service provider. There's just how does somebody do business with you right away is the question. And this is online without them having to pick up the phone. Advertising, again, if you're not advertising, it's fine, but this does offer you some information on keywords that you could be ranking for if you decided to pull ads. You can look at the fine print here. This is the assumption that you have $5 a day with an unlimited budget. Who's got that? But anyway, as far as information, it's just good for you to be able to collect your keywords. Okay, so SEO. So if you are a local business that works with local groups, this is interesting because the local search results will let you know how you're showing up on when somebody uses like the phone and they're looking for a business, how you show up there based on where you are. Based on the address that she provided, she's not showing up in the top 100 searches. So some of that can be solved with the SEO, some of it with the listings, but there's some opportunity there for her to make it easier for people to find her when they're searching for a caterer. Same thing. This is kind of search traffic. The AI pulled a few competitors. I believe when you do the form, you're allowed to add the competitors that you would like in there, but it's just showing what your competitors are doing. So only one person is doing a little better than her, but it's not showing any transactions. This is the newest part, and I think kind of the coolest part. This is the AI optimization. And so this is kind of the one that's flipped us all on our head. Is at one point when we used to worry about like Google, but now we got to worry about everybody. And so this will show us how we show up inside the learning models. So whether it's Google AI, ChatGPT, or Gemini, it'll show you what businesses it is recommending for these different types of searches. And again, you can actually look at what's the best catering off to service. It'll show you the description and which businesses that it is recommending. So that's the end of the report. So as you can see, there's a lot of information in this report. It'll be very specific to your business. As long as you have a website, then it will be able to pull some of the information. The other thing about it is the report is free. So if you do it now and take some of the things that we talked about and turn them into action, then go back to the site and run it again in 3 months or ping me and say, hey, can you refresh the report and let's see what's changed. So, all right, I'm going to stop the share here. Submit link. Okay, I'll get that for you. I don't know why the link's not working. I'll probably change something fun. Um, okay, so then let's go back to the presentation. Hopefully you guys are doing well. We'll talk about it at the end. All right, and we're back on our share game. Okay, so we looked at the report. We're gonna kind of plow through these systems. We're doing pretty good on time, but I want to leave some questions and answers at the end. Um, all right, so the first one we talked about was reputation and visibility. On the report, we looked at listings, we looked at reviews, we looked at website, we also looked at search and AI. So that report definitely provides us with a lot of the visibility. The listings, the most important thing is to have them, but also to be accurate. It's interesting because specifically for directories and review sites, the search engines look at every single character. So like even if you have suite 106 on something and pound 106 or building 106, it kind of diminishes the score and the trust from the search engine optimizations. It's the only thing that's really super nuanced like that. So listings existing, but also being accurate. So if you update one place, you update all places. Reviews, again, I can always tell you how great I am, but it's always better if you can read from someone else about what their experience was for you to trust that I'm going to take care of you in your business. The website, again, how easy is it for me to take action? How easy is it for me to fill out a form, book an appointment, do business with you? Search, of course, is how are you being found when I'm looking for you versus, we do social media, we produce things, we run ads, and so I'm pushing myself in your face like I'm here, but can I find you when I'm actually looking for you? And then also our new best friend and sometimes enemy, AI. Is AI recommending you in any of their answers? So visibility gets you considered, trust gets you contacted. So that's why reviews are important. I say all that to tell you I'm terrible at it. So if you get an email asking for a review, don't be surprised because I'm trying to get better. Okay. So search has some new decision makers. At one point in our lives, all we had to worry about was how are we ranking on Google? Can Google find us? Are we on the top pages? Now we have to figure out if Google and its homie Google AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, are they recommending us when someone asks who they should hire? This is our new visibility contest. And if you know anything about SEO, like a lot of people would do blogs so that they can be found on search. Blogs are still really important, but now we have to write to AI and we have to write to the human. Sounds fun. Not really. The next system that we're talking about is the lead response and booking. So, we don't have any kind of patience at all. So, if I'm interested, I want to be able to do something and take action quickly, whether it's fill out a form, place a call, or DM. Then, based on how quickly you respond, is probably whether or not you'll get my business because oftentimes we're moving on to the next person if we're not hearing from you right away. That's hard when it's just you. So, and you don't have like an army sales team that's like staring at all the leads. But there are ways, you just have to be aware of them. And so the lead and also record, remember when we talked about customer management, just understanding who your customer is, where they are, and also providing them with the next step. So this actually is a workflow or a system where someone calls or they fill out a form, they get a response really quickly. Ashley, who's on here, I worked with her for years. She has a really great system that as soon as somebody fills out her form, in before she even has to email you, like on the confirmation page, she offers you a place to book an appointment while simultaneously the record is going into her CRM. That's like a great way to make sure that you're responding to the person very quickly when they're saying, I'm interested. I have also relied lately on using the AI chat. So a lot of times people decide they want to run ads in the middle of the night and I'm not awake, but they can sit there and talk to my AI chat bot, get the information that they want, and then I can follow up with them in the morning. So a fast response is not being pushy. It's being helpful while interest is high. It's also capitalizing on the opportunity while it exists because, man, people move on quick these days. The next system that we'll talk about is the follow-up and nurture. So I'm sure you guys have heard that the fortune is in the follow-up. A lot of times the follow-up is in our heads. I personally often put my follow-ups on post-it notes. Neither of those are good ways to operate in business. And different ways that you want to follow up is if someone has interest, you want to send like reminders. Even again, the follow-up is both before they do business with you and also after they do business with you. You want to send reminders like, hey, give them next steps. And the consistency of that will help build trust and also help them drive a decision. So if they decide not to do business with you right away, if all of you decide not to hire me as your strategist, you'll still probably hear from me until you not decide not to hear from me. So that would be newsletters, emails. I won't text you, but maybe asking for reviews or checking to see like, hey, did you get any value from that webinar? Or do you have any questions? So those are different ways that you nurture to build relationships and eventually build trust so that they're like, hey, this girl cares enough about my business, keep asking about it. Maybe I'll give her a shot. Consistency creates the familiarity, and then familiarity creates the confidence. I know that a lot of people feel the pressure of being like a social media influencer or having to do all the videos and things like that. I'm telling you, oftentimes just being consistent will drive way more traffic than anything that you're doing like that. I've have newsletters that I'm not consistent about because I always am working on other client stuff. But anytime I get consistent, people just remember that I do business. They're like, oh yeah, she's that marketing person. And my phone starts to ring again. So again, I knew that it wasn't just the economy and AI. I was not taking care of all my business. The next system that we're going to talk about is customer management. Your brain is brilliant, but it shouldn't be a database. So we talked about this already. The inbox has some of the customer information. You might have notes like handwritten or in your notes app. Like I've seen some majorly interesting notes apps, like how, or even like I know a group of realtors that they put a little house in front of the contact in their phone to keep track of the people selling houses, which is cool unless the phone dies or something happens to it. Sheets, the spreadsheets, I've seen some amazing spreadsheets. The one thing that can get challenging is that you only usually have one row of data. So if you have an update to it, you have to delete what just happened to update the new data. So now you've lost the history. Text messages, that is always interesting to just try to like, oh, I know we did business, or, going back through your text messages to try to remember what that lead was. And then, of course, our faithful memory, which can come and go. So also, if it's your memory, then you can never delegate to anybody else. So the goal would be for us to have one customer record that has the contacts, any companies, associations, any deals you're working with or interests that they have, any tasks that you need to support with the actual the customer that you are working with, any notes about them, bookings, and forms. I'm sure you guys feel where I'm going with this next. The last one is your business intelligence. If you can't see it, then you can't improve it. I'm old school. So when I was in marketing and corporate many moons ago, um, our director would say, if you can't measure it, don't do it, which felt really crazy. And this was before like social media was actually before social media, which is crazy. But like if we did postcards or things like that, we had to figure out how to track it to figure out if it worked, because if you're spending money or spending all this effort on doing things and it's not working, then you're just spinning your wheels. So the things you want to look at is you want to look at your leads. Where are they coming from? You want to see how fast you're responding. You want to be able to see, like, if you've talked to several people, what's going to close? Like, am I close to something? Like, do I have business coming down the pipeline? You also want to know how you show up and then what earns your attention. I do have a quick, like, story time where I was meeting I had a discovery call with someone and she wanted help on her social media. And I'm like, great. What do you want to do? She's like, I need to know how to do more videos and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, wonderful. Where do you get your business from? Quiet. Well, mostly from my website or people Google me. So then we go look at the website. I'm like, you're worried about the wrong thing. Website could definitely use some improvements. And so she was going to spend a lot of time, effort, and probably money on creating this fantastic social media, which would draw people in. But then what? So now she would have spent a bunch of money and then still not got the results that she wanted. So that's why you want to look at everything. Look at your whole system so that you understand your business and understand how you're making money. So, data is not here to judge. That report is not there to judge you, but it is to help you to choose where to put your effort. And look, I'm talking about us making more money, but also as business owners, I'm sure some of y'all would like to go on vacation and sleep and go out and party. Like, if you're spinning your wheels on things that aren't making results in your business, then you're robbing yourself from being able to do other things. So I'm going to give us a couple minutes to kind of look at, hopefully you took some little notes or some mental notes, and do some little rating. So just write down on a paper, because clearly you can't circle it here, but just write down on a piece of paper or something your scores on these different systems that we covered. And then if you could in the chat, just tell me which system had lowest score. Let me look at the chat. Yes, my site AI is saucy. So for those of you that try to do the report and it wouldn't submit, don't worry, I will fix it for you when I send you the follow-up email. I think I tried to update something real cute right before we started, so. Okay, so we have some business intelligence, some, all of them are a little low, which is okay. Customer management, great website, but not driving leads. So that'll be interesting to see how you're showing up when people are looking for your business. Business intelligence is weak. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Thank you for sharing. So then the idea would kind of be look at the area that's the weakest and kind of focus on where you can make improvements on that. So that's the reason why you start off with the lowest. For those that are kind of leveled out, then I think that most of us have like that thing that we worry about the most, or the thing that we're most interested in. Start there. Okay. We are trucking right along. So now I'm going to introduce y'all to CSD Connect. And before you think this is a sales pitch, I'm just going to break through with the surprise. I'm going to give it to you all for free, and you don't have to use it, but it'll be available for you, but I'm giving it to you for free, real free, not fake free. Um, but I did want to tell you that I didn't introduce all these things to you until you score yourselves and then wish you good luck, that I do have something that can help support all the areas that we talked about. And that is CSD Connect, which is a platform that I did not program it, but I built it. So I work with product partners to build it. And no, you don't get my expertise for free. This is free expertise, Mark. Stop being greedy. But anyway, this is where you are able to manage the things that we talked about and make some improvements on your business. And so I'm going to give you a quick like review of it. But anything that we've talked about, like one of the most important things is like reporting, for example. You'll be able to see the same report that when I fix my link, when you'll see that visibility report, that opportunity report, those same things will be reported on monthly so you can see the progress of your business. And so I didn't leave you out to dry like, oh, all these systems, that sounds crazy. I'm going to give you a tool that will allow you to manage these systems. Okay, so I'm about to escape on this and then just show you a few things, parts of it. And then I'll tell you ways to find out more. But anyway, the idea is, how does one person become a customer? So the CRM is going to help you with that handoff. Remember, we talked about the handoff is where you can really drop off and businesses will feel it. So you can start off with a form. So the CRM has forms available that you can add to your website. And from there, someone submits a form. And or they could just click a booking link, but we'll just start with the form. The form will automatically put the information into the CRM. So now you don't have to worry about transferring it from your phone, looking at your email, blah, 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 blah. And this is not the only way it can move through, but this is the general track. Then, based on the information they provide you in the form, perhaps you can understand what it is that they might be interested in. Oh, this person clicked on the form that they're interested in social media. So now I'll add social media as an opportunity for this particular contact. Then I'm going to go back and reach out to this contact and say, and maybe I won't, my automation will probably do it. But maybe I'll reach back out to this contact and say, hey, thanks for reaching out. Here's my booking link. So they go ahead and they book an appointment with me. I get the next step. They understand they're going to get to talk to me. And then the system can create a task for me to follow up, or we can also add automations for the follow-up to happen after the meeting. After the meeting, send this follow-up email. So technology will manage the information so that you can focus on the relationship. One thing I will caution about, whether you use my system or any other system, don't over automate. Don't have AI do things that are relationship driven. Why? Because people can tell. I have had automation fails myself where I have built such a behemoth of automation that it was talking to people about stuff that they didn't ask for just because they may have clicked something weird. And so what I've learned is to put stops in there because it's still important that I deal with my relationships, the people. We have to put humanity back into it. So one great thing about AI is it's great, but also it makes us all feel very like a machine. Like, a lot of us can say, like, oh, she wrote that with AI. Because if you thought that AI made this PowerPoint presentation, you are absolutely right. It did. But I'm the one delivering the message. So we put the human back in anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a little snapshot of the CRM that I will be gifting y'all. So I think I gave y'all fair warning earlier. Live demos notoriously like to act up, but we're hoping that. Oh, there I go. I froze. See? Okay, I froze for a minute. Okay, so this is CSD Connect, and this is so when you get it, it won't look like this clearly because this is one that I use. And this is kind of like my demo account, and there are additional things on here that you won't see, but for purposes of having something filled out, I wanted you all to see it. So what you see on this front page is the business intelligence. So when you first log on, you can see what's going on with your business at a snapshot. Well, how do you see that? Well, there are a ton of integrations in the back end that allow you to plug in things that you're already using. So if you use a website and say you use Wix or whatever else, and you have Google Analytics, you just plug your Google Analytics into the CRM, you plug in your social media, you just plug them all in so that they can pull the analytics for you. I'm a single sign-on baddie. I hate having to sign on to a million different apps. So this has been a lifesaver for me in being able to manage certain platforms in one sign-on. That enough like help that tech stack is crazy. And the origin of CSD Connect was this is how I managed my clients. And I didn't open this up for other people to use it. This was just how I was managing my clients. It was just easier for me to be able to log in one time, and because I can manage everybody on the back end, which is why you will always have support. But that's how I manage my clients. And then I realized I'm like, wait, people should be using this themselves because I use it myself when I'm not managing my clients. Long story long, this is where we are. So what you will be getting is you'll get the business intelligence. So you'll get this reporting up front, and it'll also send you every month an executive report, which is essentially the information that you saw on that other report, but updated every single month. So the executive report comes to you in your email. Do not judge. Don't judge me. I'll be busy. But it'll go through and show you like the leads, all the listings, website, social. So anything that you saw um, on that other report, you'll see it on this report as well. The other thing that you'll get is conversations. And this one, oh yeah. So this one, basically you can plug in your Instagram, you can plug in different things so that all of it's in a unified inbox. So you don't have to chase around and log in the DMs and this and that and the other. You can manage them all from one place. That's why you saw a bunch of people were giving me shout outs. This is also where the chat bot, if you add a chat bot, that all that information sits in here. And then this is the CRM. This is the main piece that you'll all have. And I'm gonna go ahead and nope, not that one. I have one. Okay, here. So this is the contact record. And as you can see, the things that we talked about inside of the spreadsheet that are solved here are you can keep a record of all of the different things. Oh, look, I'm hosting a webinar today. That's cool. But you can keep a list of all of the activities that this contact is doing with your business. Some of them will automatically go in, like if you schedule a meeting or they click your meeting, your booking link, then it will automatically update here. If they fill out a form, as you can see here, it'll automatically update. And so some of this stuff you don't have to worry about. The other thing that's cool about it is that you can log all of these different type of activities. You can just add notes in here. You can log emails. You can also, like if you placed a phone call and you want to remind yourself that you already made a follow-up phone call, you can also handle the meetings here and then tasks. So you can create actual to-do lists like I did here, and that will be here on the record. You can also, if you do business with companies as well, you can also track the companies. I'm not going to go through all of this, but one thing that's cool is that a contact can be associated with a company as well. And if I'm a contact, like what I am, a person that has multiple brands, I can add multiple companies there. So then if any information that I update to the company record, like, oh, we have a meeting or something, it'll actually populate on any contact that's associated with that company. The other thing I want to show you is the opportunities. So this is where you would track deals. So for example, I decided I want to get the visibility system. I can go in and I would create an opportunity like, ooh, that girl needs some help. And so a year worth of visit local, like these different systems would cost me, I think I calculated it's like $100 and something a month. So this number here is a year's worth of services. I have what's called a pipeline, which is, I showed you that, but we'll show that again. And so here I can capture all the information about the deal. So Courtney attended the webinar. She added in the chat that she needed to be seen more. Um, I'm going to send her, and then I'll create a task that says send an email to her, which I could just create here, send a follow-up email, the webinar. Just kidding, can't spell. And then I can add like all of the tasks in here. I can create it. Oh, it's going to be an email to create the task. This is also built for multiple people. So if you run a small team, this is not a per user type of thing, it's per company. So if you have other people that work with you, you can also add them to this database. It's very easy to create a user. And though I'm just kind of showing you today what it looks like, there's ways that we'll deep dive. I have some office hours that I'll show, and then also I'll be sending emails. And if you just want to book a quick walkthrough, we can. So here's where I'm tracking the deals. So, okay, I sent a proposal. Now we started the negotiations. You can literally just slide these over. When you look up here in the top, it will track I have to go out and come back in, but it will track each stage of my pipeline and how much money is in the pipeline to start off with. So if this deal was, I was showing some realtors this, so this deal was a $10,000 commission. If they've only on step one, I'm only $2,000 towards my goal, but the farther down I get, the closer it'll be to the total amount. It's called the probability affected something. Anyway, then at the end I can say whether I close it and I won it or I close it and I lost it. And you can also create like different automations to tell. So if I closed and I lost it, you can set up an automation to put me into a nurture list, which is maybe I'm just getting your newsletters. And then like the tasks here. So any of the tasks that I created on an individual company, they all show up in this one task place. So I don't have to remember who I worked on during the week when I created the task. I can just go to the task list and see it all. This also comes with forms. So we talked about that. You can create multiple forms that you can add on to your website if you have landing pages because you want to do a special like a special promotion. You can have just a special form for that. You can make multiple forms. And then my meetings is a booking link. So if you have Candly or Calendly or Acuity or anything like that, you could essentially replace those with this booking link. It doesn't do the paid version though, but just to allow people to book time with you. And then that information automatically goes into the CRM. So that's just the basic, real quick run through of what you'll be getting, what you can have. Um, we're almost done, and then I'm gonna open up the questions because we have time. I just lost the PowerPoint. So I think that's exciting. I actually love this system, and it's one of the reasons why business got a little easier for me. Things that I'll mention to you, but won't really show is that this platform is also layered with AI workforce. So AI agents, meaning I have an agent that is a receptionist, so answer the phone because I can't afford to hire a receptionist right now. I have one that does my social media and blogging to help me with my SEO. So it sends me an email every Monday to say, here's your posts. And I go ahead and schedule them, or I can have them automatically schedule them. We have AI for reputation management. So all the things we talked about, there are AI agents for it. But the most important thing is for you to get the foundation and to start organizing your information, because all the AI in the world will not help a junkie system. Like, it'll make it worse because AI is crazy sometimes. It'll be tripping. So that is the warning. I lost my Zoom. Okay, so I'm gonna reshare, I think. Yep. And I didn't mean to do that. Not to the beginning. You want to start all over? All right, so you don't have to use CSD Connect to start. You can use Google Sheets, you can use a notebook, you can use a system that you already know. The most important thing is to stop running your business from memory, get some type of organization, start logging the steps of your business. But if you do want a head start, I do have these presents. Already, spoiler alert, I'm terrible at Christmas. I tell everybody what I bought them. So what I will be sending is the 5 system checklist. So you kind of did it for me on the slide with the slide where you wrote down the system, but I will provide a little more information so that you can have a little more deep dive to look at your different systems and kind of figure out where you want to begin this. And then I'll also be sending you over the customer journey worksheet. And that is basically a guided way for you to go through how do people do business with you. So anytime I do what's called a business systems review, where we basically create, like, first they do this, then they do this, then they do this. And while they're doing this is what I have to do. It's going to help you walk through what the customer side of that is so that you understand what they are experiencing or what they need to experience, so that you can see where you can lay technology underneath it, or, where you need to create a process for, make some decisions for that. The opportunity report, which we went over, which I will get the link fixed and then send that over to everybody. I'll send it both through Eventbrite, and I'll also send it through another email. And then, of course, you will get your free CSD Connect CRM. So we can actually do the CSD Connect CRM now. You're welcome to sign up for it if you'd like to. I hope I'm not lying. But if you go to csdconnect.com, I'll send you a link too. But if you go to csdconnect.com and you click, there's like a blue button in the corner. I don't want to turn off the thing again. It says login. You can click there and it should give you an option to get started. If it doesn't, when you create your opportunity report, that big green get started button at the top is going to log you into your CRM. So once you do the opportunity report, you create your CRM. So that's probably the easier way to do it because you get 2 for 1. So the free CRM is your starting point that you are able to use or not use. Also, if you have another system, but you want to use like a sandbox, so meaning you don't want to use the system that you're already working with, you can use the CSD CRM as like a place to test some things, figure out things that are working or not working. But with it, you'll be able to track contacts, companies, opportunities. Like I said, you'll get that booking link, those forms, and then you'll have that task manager. Again, it's not a trial because I'm not going to snatch it from you. The goal is for you to have something foundational. And if that's as far as you ever get in the business, no worries. But I find that as your business grows, then you can add on elements to it. So for example, the CRM you have is free, but in the demo one you saw, there was an AI on the side. That's in the paid version of the CRM, and the paid version is 20 bucks a month. So we're still not out here beating people over the head with things. So you can add on the elements as they're ready. So it's not like, hey, you got to pay me $500 a month. You just build on as you're ready, but start with the foundation, get the systems going, and then build on from there. Yes, I don't want you paying for features that you don't use. I want you to build a system that you'll actually use. Oh, I got over the animations. Anyway, so how do you get help for this? You get to choose what you want to do. So you can do it completely by yourself. You don't have to grab the CRM. Go get your worksheet, your sheet, use the T the and build out the customer journey and then build that out in the system that you're already working with. I love it. If you got it, do it. If you need help, I can still help you with that. But feel free to be independent. I'm not shoving anything down anybody's throat. The other thing is you can definitely get your free CRM. And then I will do an onboarding or a couple onboarding webinars to help you like plug in. There's also some videos in there and some support that you can get as well. But the other step would be to use this free CRM. And then lastly, like you can choose the level of support you want. So like I said, I'll open up some office hours if you have some specific questions where you can hop on a Zoom or you can request support with the setup. Like we can do a whole business system review, or I could build it for you. That's the thing too. So if you have like because there's like custom forms and fields that we can actually build. If you would just like for me to build that out and want to give us access to certain things, then I'm happy to do that for you as well. So in the next 24 hours, when I get that link fixed, your opportunity report will arrive, and I will also send you instructions to claim your free CRM. And then all the other things, the worksheet, I'll give you the schedule for the demo or office hours. Actually, I'll just give you a booking link and you can decide. And then your next move will be to pick one system, one next action, and then be proud of yourself. Okay, so I know there's a lot, and we're done. We made it, and we have some time. So I'm going to stop the share. Oh, we have 30 minutes? No, we don't. We're at the end. Okay, we have a little bit of time for a couple questions. I know it's a lot of information. Um, I'm happy to either read the chat or I'm happy to open mics if y'all want to talk. I think there's like a button I can press to let people do that. Maybe not. Oh, I hate when chat changes. Okay, I don't know. Does anybody have a question that they want to talk on? Okay, I'm gonna unmic. How do I do this?
Thank you.
There you go.
Wonderful presentation, by the way. So happy I could make it. I have
Yay.
a quick question. I also did find you on Eventbrite, because I have to go on there often to look for trainings for my job. And I was about to log off and I happened to see yours. And I was like, oh, wow, this is awesome. Like, and it's not going to start for like 20 minutes. So I was really happy about that. And you mentioned, paying like a little $20 fee on Eventbrite for Eventbrite ads. So I'm wondering, I have done like Instagram and Meta ads in the past, and I will say that I haven't really felt like they've helped. I feel like I've actually gotten more leads through Eventbrite if I'm doing an event or like putting things on like a community calendar sometimes. So I was gonna say, what is your feel for Meta ads and Instagram ads? Do they really work, or is it something where for them to work, you have to pay like a lot of money per day?
So, great question. I'm glad that you have your business intelligence because it sounds like you already know it works. So, first, I would just advise you to do what you know works. As far as Meta works, is like it's an inventory thing. So, everybody's using Meta ads because in the world of ads, it is cheaper than most things because you can get very specific about who you're targeting. However, if it's a holiday weekend or it sounds like you're in the event business, but if you're doing it around anything else that's going on, you're going to have to compete with people that have bigger budgets. So I would say that I prefer to run ads at times of the year when it's not high demand, so not around holidays. I did not do Meta ads for this one. I also would say that use the Meta AI because every time you run ads, if you allow the tool to do what it's supposed to do, it learns because it is running on AI as well. It'll learn how to market to your group the same way. And there's so many different pieces of it. If you're just boosting, that's terrible. You have to go through the ads manager, which it sounds like you're already doing. And then there's so many things that you can kind of pull levers on from the location, demographic, who's talking that you just kind of have to play with it. So I would say it is a difficult tool. So if you already know that the community calendars and the Eventbrite is working for you, do that. And I would say maybe lean into that. So maybe the community calendars, maybe you reach out to some of those people, see if they have newsletters so that you can get into those newsletters to go to their audience, or maybe look for other collaborations because it sounds like you're getting more of a community feel. And so do what you know. Meta works, but it's iffy. And it also it's there's so many variables and you kind of have to learn it. So if you don't have the capacity for it, just do what's working. Okay, cool. I'll take two more because I already ran up all your guys' time. Sorry. But any questions that you have, you'll have my contact information. I'd be happy to respond later. Is there any other hands up that want to unmute? Hey, do you know how to do that? Hi, Mark, I see you. Do I have to unmute you? Do it.
Thank you. Did
I
that
have the
work?
power.
Yes, you do. And first of all, I'm on here with Courtney Dade and Lauren Cobbs. I've already won for the evening. Absolutely. This is beautiful, but you know, me and technology have a love-hate relationship. So I'm going to need you to walk me through and hold my hand as we do all of this. But this is fantastic. Thank you.
I got you. Perfect. Uh, Georgina asked, I'm just going to answer, but I'm also going to answer here. How did I make this presentation? I usually use Claude where I'll like, hey, these are the ideas and we'll negotiate the slides. This one was actually made by ChatGPT this time because it didn't want to give the information to me to go put into Claude. So I said, do it yourself. And it did. And it not bad at all. Okay, Lauren, you're on.
Great presentation. Two,
Yeah.
well, one, Leslie asked a question in the chat that I also was curious about and how to get AI to recommend your company. And then the second question, it's on reviews. How do you manage reviews in which there is a large spread of opinions about your business because your audience base is very broad.
Hmm.
And some people love what you're doing. I'm in the event space, as you know.
Yep.
So some people love the events, and other people have a different expectation for the
Hmm.
event. And they'll be like, oh, I hated this because it was too hot outside. And you're
Right.
like, well, how do I manage that?
Right.
Um, So like I've been very like my reviews on some platforms are like 5 out of 5 and other ones are like 2.5 out of 5. And you're like,
What?
what
Yeah.
do I do about that?
Great question. So I'm going to answer both of them. To grab Leslie's too. How do you get AI to recommend your company? Great question. It's multifaceted. However, you continue to do what you would do when you did SEO, which would be to create content. But like, for example, if you do a blog or even your social media posts, AI prefers very short lists. So oftentimes you'll see on new blogs, they'll have like don't read like too long to read at the very top, and it'll give you like the 3 or 4 bullet points or the highlights about what's in the longer article. That's not for us, that is for AI. You'll also see oftentimes in blogs at the bottom of the blog, it'll have a FAQ. That's not for us, that's for AI. So those two important changes would be things that will help. Reviews actually do help as well. So especially like Google for recommendations, it will pull the Google business profile. So then leaning into what you're asking about reviews, you can't control the folks, understood. However, you respond to them all. And from a human perspective, it's just as important for you, for people to see how you conduct customer service as it is for them to see the number. So a lot of times if you have like a 3-ish, even that 2.5, if it's not like 1, and we nosy too, so we're gonna go check out a 1. A lot of people will go find out why. So we know people are fickle and they have big emotions. So then you go and check out the reviews and you'll read what people were actually complaining about. A, and then B, you'll look at how the business responded to the person. So the other thing is you can still curate your reviews. So people will, a lot of times people, when they're pissed, they will leave a review without you having to ask them to. But if you know that people love you and there's folks that are frequent event goers, if you have like a VIP or a loyalty tribe within your business, then you can ask them for the reviews and to balance out the negative reviews. Does that help? All right, I'll take one more question and then how do I get in touch with? Oh, I will give you. So for everybody on here, I'll send an email through the Eventbrite platform, and then I'll also send an email through my own email. You just might have to check spam, which is why I'm going to send it through Eventbrite too. And that will give you my contact information. It'll have the fixed link for the report. It'll tell you how to get the CRM. Like any questions that you have, I'm not gatekeeping and I'm not hiding. I'm so appreciative that you all sat with me for this hour plus, that I want to make sure that I honor your time by giving you the help that you need. So I will give you that information. I think that looks like I don't see any more hands. I did keep you guys an extra 15 minutes. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, so I will be in touch next 24 hours. I'm probably going to ask for a review because I need some. So if you enjoyed the content and you think this will be helpful, hopefully this will be the beginning of our relationship and not the end. And I will tell you how to connect with me on social media. And I really do appreciate y'all so much for being with me. And I hope to see you all soon. So thank you.